Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And welcome, everyone. This is going to be my video talking about this full moon in Gemini. The full moon in Gemini, it is here. The final full moon of 2019. And what a powerful one we have. The final full moon that we have before these intense eclipses that we're going to be getting in Capricorn and Cancer respectively. So this is a huge moment. Of course, you know, full moons are always a time of release in astrology. They're a time of release, simultaneously a time of beginnings. I say that because, you know, anytime that you have an ending, you do have a beginning as well. It's like you climb to the top of the mountain and it's the end of the journey of climbing that mountain, but now it's time to go back down the mountain. And this is definitely going to be a moment where, with the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Gemini, they're going to be opposing each other at 19 degrees, and this is going to be happening late into the evening. If you're on the east coast of the United States, this is going to be happening just after midnight. So this is going to be a very interesting transit. If you think about this energy, you know, 19 degrees, 1 plus 9 equals 10, which reduces to 1. So there is an element of energy with the sun here, but 10 is also the number of manifestation and is the number of the Taurus energy. And we do have Uranus in Taurus at the current moment. So there's going to be some focused right there with this Uranus and Taurus energy as it relates to this, because we are really wanting to break through and revolutionize our value systems. We are really wanting to break through and revolutionize how we see this world and how we physically manifest things. But what's going on else with this moon? Well, we do have all this Capricorn energy, guys. And we have Venus on top of Saturn. Actually, Venus is like squished in between Saturn and Pluto. They are so close. They're so close to that conjunction, Pluto and Saturn. Right now, Venus sits just nice and snug in between these energies. So you have 19 Venus, you have 19 Saturn, you got 19 on the moon, you got 19 on the sun. So there's a lot of manifestation energy. And especially with full moons, it's like we have already manifested and now we're becoming illuminated and aware of what we have manifested. But here's the thing though. The moon in Gemini is going to be king-kunxing all this energy. As I call the king-kunx, the awkward stare from across the room, this is going to bring up some uncomfortable feelings when it comes to this Capricorn vibe. We're going to bring up some uncomfortable feelings on how we value our current status in the world, how we value society, how we value our decision-making, how we value our ability to create from nothing. Because that's what Pluto does. It's able to create from nothing. And there's going to be this interesting and yet awkward sort of feeling where it's like, now that we're being illuminated, now that the sun, of course, like I said, being a Sagittarius, we're being illuminated on the beliefs, not only our beliefs, but the belief of those in our surrounding space, those that we communicate with on a day-to-day basis, those who are in our closest neighborhoods, the people that we work with, our family members too, friends. I say this mainly because this full moon is occurring right before Chiron comes direct. And guess where the moon will be when Chiron officially goes direct? It will be at 2 degrees of Cancer, effectively making a square over to Chiron, which of course is going to be challenging. So this is going to be a very emotionally difficult decision that we're having to make with this full moon. Because what we're coming to note is that we all want the good life, right? But the good life does look different depending upon who you talk to. We all want to get ahead in life. We all want better for ourselves. And we all want to believe that we can have that we can really manifest that. You know, that's the belief energy, that's that Sag energy. But the king-kunxing energy to all that Capricorn is going to require some hard fucking work. And I've been saying that in several of my videos lately, how this is going to require some hard work. how we can actually have that dream life that we really want, but it's not going to be necessarily the easiest. It's sort of like, we've climbed up this mountain and now we're going back down the mountain, and it's almost sort of like the descent may feel a little bit tougher than the ascent. Because as we go down, it's not like there still aren't obstacles when we're going down the mountain. It's not always smooth. I'm getting the image of like, when you were a kid and you used to find like a big grassy hill and you used to roll down it and it was really fun. We all wish that going down the mountain metaphorically was like that, where we can just get on our side and roll down the mountain. But this hill that we're rolling down, it's not just smooth and has like beautiful emerald green grass. No, there's rocks, there's pitfalls, there's anthills, there's things that we have to do. There's things that we have to be aware of. And there is certainly an element with this full moon where we may feel like we have failed in some areas in our life. We may feel like we have failed. Good. Good. If you have failed, if you feel like you have failed, you're on the right track, because that means that there is more for you to explore. There's more for you to discover. There's more for you to uncover. And failure is not inherently bad. We have to learn how to spin it differently. Of course, we want to succeed and have victory, right? Of course, we want to have our beliefs substantiated by reality and what's happening. But sometimes it doesn't always happen that way. It's like, you can be like, oh, I'm a unicorn, I'm a dragon, I'm an elf, I'm a high mage. And then you go out into the world and you're not really manifesting the magic like these magical beings do. But you almost have to like redefine this energy. You have to redefine it, Sometimes we get so caught up in what everyone else's projections and perceptions are on who we are and what blank should be. We have this perception on what success looks like or what this looks like. But there is some innovative quality that's coming along with this full moon. As I said, all of these planets being at 19 degrees, reducing down to 10, which is the number of Taurus, it's the number of the Earth. That's where Uranus is right now. We don't have a lot of fixed energy, guys. We don't have a lot of fixed energy. We don't have any Aquarius energy, not yet. Venus isn't there yet. We don't have any Leo energy, right? We do have Mars in Scorpio, so that's nice. So there is this element where we are definitely wanting to act on our deepest passions and desires, but we still have to be wary of whether or not we're bullshitting ourselves with these desires and wants. That's the other thing. And then, of course, we have, Taurus. So we have energies in Taurus and Scorpio, which is interesting. Being earth and water, these are the more eternalized feminine aspects of the fixed signs, albeit there are masculine and feminine to all signs, but traditionally the earth and the water signs are more feminine. So we have fixed energies in these areas, but we don't have fixed energies in the masculine feminine sign, the masculine fixed signs of Aquarius and Leo. Meaning that this external reality that we see is really not fixated, and there's not a lot of influence here, which means that we don't necessarily have to pay too much attention to what's going on the outside. We don't have to pay too much attention to it. But what's on the inside, though? That's what really counts. What's on the inside, right? And this is going to be a time where we really want to receive ourselves in all of who we are. Another thing that I want to say about this full moon, and I'm probably going to make another video piggybacking off of this, is that a lot of times I like to see Gemini as a sort of librarian. And I know that might sound interesting because you might think it's Aquarius, but I like to see Gemini as a sort of librarian. And I like to see Sagittarius as the Akashic record. I say that because the galactic center point is in Sagittarius. And this is an interesting moment with this full moon, because now that the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is in Sagittarius at the time of this full moon, which is a really big freaking deal, by the way, this means that the Akashic record is actually going through a bit of an audit, right? the ruler of Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, being in the sign that I feel rules the Akashic record, or definitely one of the signs that rules the Akashic record, Gemini is now going over all this information and is doing a sort of audit. Why? Because Jupiter just went through the space. Jupiter just flew through the space, and Venus just flew through the space. They flew, well, Venus certainly flew through Sagittarius. Jupiter just recently left there. So now we have all these new experiences and all these new value systems that have expanded and we have added to our Akasha record. And now the librarian Gemini, Mercury, is about to come over all of this information and update it. So we are going through a bit of an audit. That's why this is kind of an interesting time right now, because you may feel like you've had the facts on your life. You may feel like you've had the facts on your reality, but things can change on a dime. And we also have to remember, like I said, this is the last full moon before we reach that intense pinnacle, huge moment of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. So this full moon in Gemini, definitely going to be a very intense time. Of course, you want to see where it is in your chart to see what happens. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is love, right? Because, you know, Gemini rules the lovers in the tarot, right? So there's definitely going to be this illumination in our love life, whether you're in a relationship or not. Some of you may discover your twin flames, your soulmates. And what's going to happen is that it's not necessarily going to be an ending to this relationship, but there's going to be an ending to the current status of this relationship. So perhaps if you're single, you may find yourself in a relationship very, very soon. They may just make themselves aware to you. If you happen to be in a relationship and you want it to continue and you want it to work out, it's going to go to that next level. Or at least there's definitely going to be this urge and this kind of nudge from the universe to bring it to the next level. If you're in a relationship and you don't really know where it's going to go and you don't necessarily see yourself with this person, it may be time to end it. But also keep yourself open, because like I said, there's not a lot of fixed energy right here. Right? There's not a lot of fixed energy. And we don't have any energy in Libra either. Albeit the ruler of Libra, Venus, is in Capricorn. So right now, when it comes to relationships, we are more so focused on someone else's status and what they can bring to the relationship status wise than we are, you know, the other stuff. So, and status and all that sort of stuff is important. Having a goals, having ambitions, having some sort of drive, having some sort of vision for the future is obviously super freaking important. But there is a deeper inner essence that matters as well, and that's something that we have to remind ourselves. This is why Venus doesn't like to be in Capricorn. That's why it's kind of tough, you know, if you perhaps have this transit, you may be too focused on how much money someone makes. That's important, of course. That's important, of course. But what about the compatibility? What about connecting to that individual past the material, past all that other stuff? There's something more, there's something deeper there. So that's something else also to think about. But yes, we are going through a bit of an Akashic audit right now. And with this full moon in Gemini, it's like we are being seriously illuminated. It's almost like each and every one of us has picked out a certain book within this Akashic record with this full moon, and we're reading it. And there are certain pages in that book that have been blank. And now this full moon is going to reveal the words on that page. It's just going to pop up magically. It's like you're just imagine yourself flipping through a book, and some of the pages have words on them, and some of them don't. Some of them may even have different symbols. This would be actually a very powerful time to create your own symbols and sigils, too. Write them down and then burn them at the time of the full moon. I'm probably going to do that because I actually have a symbol that I use. I've gotten to the point where I actually have a little wand and I use it and I kind of wave the symbol around in the air. Kind of like, you know, the Disney Channel thing when they would do the whole mouse thing. Do you guys remember that? I pretty much do that with my symbol, and then I turn it and act like it's a key and I'm opening up a door. That's just something I've been doing. So creating your own symbols, sigils. Since this is also a full moon in Gemini and this is about communication in the mind, this will be a very powerful time to write down intentions, to write down your thoughts, ideas, feelings, no matter what it is, doing some automatic writing and just letting it, just let it come right out. Just don't even, you know, don't hold back. Don't censor yourself. This is not a time to censor yourself, especially if you're going to do this sort of practice with the full moon, to just write it all down, write it all out, and then burn the piece of paper or fold it up and throw it and put it somewhere. Put it under your pillow. See what happens. See where it goes. Because I'm telling you, by the time that this moon comes into Cancer, and then it's squaring over to Chiron, and mind you, the moon is going to be at 2 degrees of Cancer. Chiron will be at 1 degree, which means that whatever emotional decision that we're going to make, we've already made it. We've already made up how we feel about it. We've already made up how we feel about it. And we've already healed. We've taken that next step in our healing. So that's powerful. Even if we don't necessarily feel the healing at this current moment in time, we may not feel this healing until next year or 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But just know that you have decided to heal, and you are healing, and you're moving forward in a super powerful way. Let's get a card. Let's go ahead and get a card, shall we? Get a card for this full moon in Gemini, and this is a general reading, so of course, you know, take what works, leave what doesn't. I may augment this video later, maybe sometime tomorrow, where I draw cards for each of the signs. I'm not sure exactly, but I still wanted to make sure that I talked about this full moon. I'm definitely going to be wanting to make some videos on some of these current trends. It's like Mercury and Sag, Jupiter and Capricorn, you know, Mars and Scorpio, so forth. You know, Venus is going to be coming into Aquarius soon. So, well, let's get a card. So I have a Sacred Geometry card. I'm going to draw 3 cards total for this. Sacred Geometry card. The answer is Simple Oracle deck, because I really love that deck, and I do feel like a lot of times the answer is simple, but we like to complicate it. And then a tarot card as well. Okay, for our Sacred Geometry card, we actually have the card of Compassion. The card of Compassion, the number is 15. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. It's a beautiful card. Compassion and open your heart. These pair so well together. The number is 15. Guys, did you see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully it adjusts. It's not adjusting. But 15, open your heart. 15, compassion. I don't really need to say anything about this. You know, I really don't. I feel like it's super self-explanatory. And honestly, I want you to have your own interpretation of this. I don't really want to cloud your interpretation with an interpretation of mine. But what does this mean to you? Compassion and opening up your heart for this full moon in Gemini. And then we have the High Priestess. The High Priestess. Being the divine mediator between heaven and earth. Look who it is. It's the High Priestess. The divine mediator between heaven and earth. Between the physical realm and the subtle realms. We're going to leave it at that. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope that you all enjoyed this full moon and take advantage of it. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. As I said, just some of my recommendations, things that at least I'm going to do is just writing down my intentions, probably writing a poem or two, writing my thoughts out, doing some automatic writing, probably writing down my symbol, my personal sigil, and then burning it. And then, of course, you know, you can do your other full moon rituals and stuff like that. But have your own experience, guys. Have your own experience. It's okay. Just be you. Express yourself. Just stay true to your heart. Open your heart. Have compassion. And know that, quite frankly, you are a magical badass. Let's just put it at that. Anyways, I love you all so much. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! smile often. Ah!